Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the From Hurt to Heal podcast. We are so glad you've chosen to spend time with us on this healing journey with us. If you're here, you may be carrying pain. I want you to know you're not alone. Healing is not a straight path, it's a journey with both peaks and valleys. Every breath you take is proof of your resilience and your capacity to grow. Your feelings are valid. Your experiences, whether born of loss, disappointment, or hardship, hold lessons hold lessons that can guide you toward wisdom. Together, we can create a safe, supportive space where your pain can be transformed into strength. You deserve healing, and I'm here to walk with you every step of the way. So I am excited. We have had this gentleman on before. His name is Mr. Javon Watson. He and his wife, Joy Watson, are co creators and co CEOs of My Event Advisor. So he has something amazing to tell you all that you do not want to miss. Good evening, Mr. Watson. How are you?
I'm doing great, and you?
Absolutely amazing. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. So let's do it. Let's tell your story and let them know what's going on.
Oh man, it's a lot going on, especially with my event advisor, Stop the Madness, all the good things that are happening. But the main thing is the opportunity that awaits us right now in the social media industry. And I don't know if most of you heard about TikTok's new partnership, which is unbelievable when you look at um, the grand scheme of things, the companies involved, especially companies involved that own in prison systems and things like that. So we can only imagine what will be happening with like data, information, families, and things such as that. But I am excited to announce the beta testing phases of Zipline. Now, it's funny. I'll tell the story about Zipline and how it came about later. But Zipline is what I like to describe as the social sensation with the tagline of Ride My Zip. What does this mean? It is a social media platform that allows users to zip with friends, family, and unfamiliar people. And the word zip just means trend with, but in the form of a zip line. And I am telling you, it is going to be awesome to be a black owned social media company based in Atlanta, like the heart of entertainment and tech. They call us the Silicon Valley of the South. So creation is what everything is about, how we create, why we create. And Zipline is here to join this multi-billion-dollar media industry and offer opportunities to you as well, the viewers and everyone else who's listening. This is just a fabulous opportunity here.
I am so excited. Of I mean I know a little bit about Zipline, but I can't wait for you to tell people more about it. So what I mean, I know you've explained your zip line a little bit more. Can you? I mean, I know you've explained. Can you explain it a little bit more and tell us why it's important?
Well, for one, the social media industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we all are keenly aware, if not, we should be, that our voices are our assets as well. That when we have the ability to own our voice, we have the ability to own our space. And Zipline allows us, not just Black creators, but anyone who's positive here in the US or abroad to own their space. And I believe that is the key piece there. When we look at what has happened over the years from when Facebook first, matter of fact, let's go back to even, okay, so Mark Zuckerberg looked back at MySpace, right? And then the guy Kevin looked at MySpace and Facebook and created a niche for Instagram, to focus more on pictures and things like that. So as we continue to grow and go up and just elevate, more and more things start to unfold. Now, let's just talk about the US market with this for a quick moment. So Facebook in 7 to 8 years became a $1 billion corporation, right? Billions and billions and billions of dollars. Um, what came after that? Okay, then Facebook acquired Instagram for one point, I think 7 billion or just $1 billion, and most of it was an equity deal, like 700 million in equity, 300 million in cash. These numbers matter, especially the 700 million in equity. That's a huge thing there. Then after that, we had all of everything else just unfold. Snapchat, Twitter, I mean, LinkedIn. I mean, it just kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going, and eventually what I like to call trigger industries, right? These social giants triggered industries to form job opportunities for other people. I mean, I've never heard of a social media division. Now they're teaching you social media marketing and things like that. When I was coming up in high school, my marketing class was simply just learning how to put something on a billboard or put a flyer somewhere and then do another thing. And that was it. Now you're talking about running ads, running campaigns, connecting with people across the world, leveraging business opportunities. Now, let's take that and turn that into a model that benefits people. Let's look at TikTok. TikTok grew to unprecedented numbers in 4 years. 1 year in the US, it had like 90 million users. And that was unbelievable. Why? Because it was hip, it was energetic. It was a way for people to say, hey, I want to get on this train, I want to put something out there. And eventually, it made people social business owners. I like to call them social realtors. They own online real estate. It's not all about the real estate. That's the physical, the homes, the brick and mortar. They got that online real estate as well. So now when you look at that, you look at the climate on what has happened and what we've grown to and how people use their voice and why it's important to use their voice and taking their creative works and making creative stores and selling their merchandise or products. It has made families safer and allowed them to produce and create their own economy to make more money. Now that is digressing just a little bit because your videos are not getting as far as they once did due to, it's all about the algorithm. We don't really want them talking about a whole lot of stuff. Listen, for one, Zipline allow us to own and remain a black space, right? It is probably one of the very few black owned social media platforms that will keep its morals and principles that your voice is your voice. Now, we're not going to just let you get up there and talk bad about kids, old ladies, and things like that. It's not going to happen, okay? We're going to have some respect. But what we are going to do is we're going to grow this the same way we grew TikTok. If I honestly believe if Black people in the United States did not touch TikTok, it wouldn't have done the numbers it has done. Now, we are just some creative people. The kingdom won't take that from us. So Zipline allows you to use the Zipline format to have one person in one window and you in another window, you in one screen, then another screen, and it will rotate just like a zip line. You will actually see it happening as if there's zip lining right in front of your face, one after the other. And what does this do for creators? Few things. One, creators start to earn, or Zipfluencers is what we're going to call them, right? Start to earn at 300 people, right? You earn at 300 people and you earn $1 per 300 people. Right now, TikTok is 40 cents to $1 off your first 1,000 views or engagements, right? So we lowered the number a little bit so that we can put more in your pocket at the same time. Also, the creator store is not the same. It is you can sell whatever you want to sell. Your stores will have business licenses, permits, and everything you need, like it's your own store. This is where you sell what you want to sell. Then we have events. Now, we know that Eventbrite allows users or its platform to market on TikTok. Zipline allows you to plan your event on My Event Advisor, another platform owned by the same company, and market on Zipline at no cost for the first year, right? There's no cost for you to advertise for the first year because it's going to be in beta for a few months and we want to make sure we have the model right, right? Now, looking at this as a corporation, Zipline has the ability to do things that the major corporations don't do. Now, let me back up for a second. Myself, I'm a master business developer. What does that mean? I study the intricate details of any corporation, business, enterprise, conglomerate, and I break it all the way down to the least common denominator. And one of the issues that we have is that major corporations have the ability to donate millions or hundreds of millions of dollars to causes that they believe in, finance their children's education, start nonprofits that finance their children's educations and schools for their children as well. Zipline places us in the position to do just that. When we look at what we're missing, this is not about social media. This is about having a product that works in the cycle of money, right? Money has two means. It has a role and a goal. One is to increase, and the other one is to always keep moving. It is to never be still. So as it comes in and we grow the platform, we now have the ability to build in the areas that we lack. That's insurance, that's healthcare, that's education, that's transportation, that we can go down the line more and more and more. So Zipline is not just ordinary social media site. It is the beginning to a conglomerate that understands this is what we're missing, this is what we need. And we want to partner with everyone who has the ability of business, build a business, you're talented in music, art, whatever the case is. Our model is completely different than every other social platform. And the beautiful part about this is we're not just going to launch Zipline in the US. We're launching it in the US and in India for a second time. So this is going to be big. Coming from Atlanta, we have a black owned social media company that can get back to Asia and grow to the millions of users because India has a population about 1.5 billion and 475 million are daily users on social media. Now, when you look at that number, the US is only 350 some million people. So for you to have 475 million plus people active a month on Mars, TikTokia, Josh, the other apps they have there include Facebook and Instagram. This is an opportunity of a lifetime.
I am so excited to see um, what's going to, well, how big and how it's going to continue to grow. So let's talk about opportunities for everyone. Let's talk about investment opportunities.
Okay, so right now I have Zipline up on my tablet, right? This is just the screen of what Zipline kind of looks like, right? That part right there is loading, of course. So this is one of my event advisors videos on Zipline. You don't see the zipping window yet, but I show you this because it's on a tablet, right? Which means people are going to be posting videos, posting their store and things like that. Now, the investment opportunity for Zipline right now is extremely low. That's $1 per share. Now, let me break this down because I had people ask me a week or two ago when I made the post, is it registered with the SEC and things like that? First, there's a difference between a public corporation and a private corporation. Zipline is a private domestic corporation registered in Atlanta, Georgia, or the state of Georgia. It does not have to go through all of the protocols as a public corporation because it is private. Are there localities and offices and governments that we must report to as we raise funds? Yes. because once we hit that $10,000 mark in the bank, of course, you have to start reporting things that are above that number anyway. That's just what the law states. So, as an INC, we issue common stock shares. All this means is it has a par value for $1, and the minimum investment in Zipline is $1,000 as of right now. So 1,000 gets you 1,000 shares. Now, what does that mean? That simply means you have converted money from one form to another. I'm not making this a class, but I'm just giving you a little bit of insight on the goal of any organization is to convert from cash to cash, from one period to the next. And what that means is, or money to cash. And that means how long does it take for me to make my product I get in January to cash by the end of December? How long? How many times can I do this? So when you take your $1,000 and you pour it into Zipline, you get a certificate that says, hey, I now converted my $1,000 in cash into $1,000 in equity. Now, what is equity? Homeowners know what equity is. Or if not, equity in a business is equivalent to the equity in your home. You own as much as you pay for, even though you live in it. So Zipline, when you pay your first thousand or however much you want to go above that thousand, you own those shares. No, those shares are not transferable. It's a private company. You can't sell them to someone else. That's written actually on the certificate. I just did one for someone this morning. That's actually written on the certificate that you cannot sell them to anyone else. Now, you can pass it on to a family member, you can establish it in a trust, you can transfer it, but you cannot sell it. And yes, that's what it says on the actual certificate, that it is a this stock, the stock of this corporation can only be sold or transferred to a family member or a purchaser. You cannot trade this on the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ or any of that type of stuff. Only family members to family members. Now, what does the process look like when you invest your $1,000? The first thing you're going to get when you pay your $1,000 is a certificate that says, "Hey, I own 1,000 shares in Zipline." Right? Then I give you the form of a receipt with that as well, and stating where you can find the bylaws and all that stuff. You'll get a copy of that as well, so you can know how the corporation is ran. And I even go a further step than that, right? I host meetings with my shareholders once a month. And I do that because I don't want you to just have money sitting in a company. I want you to learn the process of investing and the documentation to investing. Because, truth be told, what us CEOs do very well is that we make people rich. And when we make you rich, we now made you a ultimate investor, meaning we've grown your $1,000 to 600,000 or 6 million. Now you are an investor. My number one goal is to take the products I create and make minor investors major investors. So when I come to you 5 to 10 years from now and say, hey, listen, we need to build 3 schools to be sure that our children are safe and build a security company, we don't have to try to figure out what sign to make, which house or building to protest in front of. No, we write the check, we set the company up, we write the bylaws, we buy the land, we buy the building, we hire the people, and now we have our school. That's the type of output we want to have. That's the type of execution we need. And when you become an investor in Zipline, you're an investor in the community as well. Trust me, I am up at hours that people cannot even fathom. I am telling you, I'm going to sleep in about 30 to 40 minutes, and I'll be back up in about 30 to 40 minutes.
I
And you
believe
figure
it.
that one out. So it is hard to sleep, but there's so many things in the world that need our attention and our love, but we can't fix any of this stuff without money. So you can invest $1,000 into Zipline or more. You'll get a certificate, bylaws, receipt. You have meetings once a month. Now, let me explain your rights as a shareholder. Shareholders have the right to vote board members in, right? That's people who are educated, not your homeboy or your sister girl from around the way. We don't want nobody on no board who don't know how to speak proper or carry themselves. Listen, we have to run a corporation, and when we run it that way, it cooperates with the laws and it does what it's supposed to do because it's written that way. See, there's only one way to win a battle when you're fighting against a system, and that is to own the system. Someone will say, well, create your own. I say, yeah, you can do that, but you still have to comply with their laws. So if they
That's
change
right.
their laws, then they change your system. But if
Mm-hmm.
you find 100 people and 100 people say, hey, let's get serious about this thing, and you finance innovation. See, I have people in Virginia. I have, I think, one or two people who have moved to New York. I have a couple people who have family in Philly, and they finance me to sit here. And when you finance a guy like me to sit here, you come out with things that will probably scare the world because it's like being a scientist in a lab looking for a cure for a disease. They can't do it sitting at home and they can't do it running a 9 to 5. So you'll get this binder of zip line, right? You'll get something that look like this. You'll have paperwork that look like this, right? This is a lot of paperwork right here, right?
Yes,
And
it
then
is.
you will have a 20-year plan that look like this. So these are all apps. These are 85 apps in these folders right here, right? Each one is a different thing. This is Event Boss. I haven't even put this together yet. And this is handwritten. Everything that's in it, 80 apps. So, and then the books are up top, My first book, Unfamiliar but Charted Territory. Then on that side, I have about four more books I haven't put out yet. Why am I showing you this? Because it is important to know that when a leader is leading, that it's all about forecasting. It's about looking ahead, right? It's preparing. I spend more time solving problems on paper and looking at them because I'm going to face them in life. So when people invest in Zipline, there are issues we're going to face. There are things that are going to come our way, but it's how quickly can we resolve them? We have four tech teams, right? One in the US, three outside the country. So someone is always up working on the product. Everyone is not asleep at the same time. Okay, when my team in Nigeria is asleep, the team in India is awake. When the team in India is asleep, the team in Bangladesh is awake. When the team in Bangladesh is asleep, the team in Nigeria is awake. If all three of them decide to go to bed, we up over here in the U.S. Or if they sleep in Texas, then I'm at the Atlanta Tech Village. That's just what has to happen. But Zipline is a beautiful opportunity for you to um, build your family's wealth, set up passive income to make future investments in your community, become a part of a culture that is about not just black and white, but about the entire world and love and peace. Invest in a vision that's going to move not just you, but the kids you see going down the streets forward. Who is this not for? This is not for quick flips and get rich quick schemes. That's not what this for. The Zipline model, if I just show you just okay, I have one book here and this says Zipline Inc. Ride My Zip 2024, right? Now if I go in this other binder right here and I just pull out zip line notes here on this, you'll see 9/24/2020. Okay. So it took that long for this to come from this binder here, doing research all those years to get things going in place. So it took a while to actually craft this. This is not something that you just say, I want it to happen overnight. It takes time to mold it and craft it and talk with people and get the information you need. So behind me, you'll see books on algorithm. You'll see books on building billion-dollar apps. You'll see everything that is needed to do the research, to be sure that is this the move we want to make. So this is for those persons who want their money to sit and grow. And then in 24 months, we're gonna have another conversation about money, and it's gonna say, okay, look, your thousand just turned into 10,000, and that is still more than what a CD account, your 401k, your IRA, or your savings account can make you in 24 months. When you look at the percentage of 1,000 into 10,000 in 24 months. That's a high probability. And you'll say, well, how do you know you're going to make that? Because I get that question all the time. Okay, there's a step called the business planning process. It's a beautiful process when you have a business plan. Inside this, it has a forecast, it has who our competitors are, a marketing analysis, right? It has who they are, where they're located, and
Mm-hmm.
how we search them, right?
Right.
And the number one point here is that your money is safe in Zipline. It's going to work. It's going to do what it does. We have multitude of counsel, right? You've seen plenty of things. We have vision. We have everything you can possibly need to have to get this done.
So I know we got Zipline coming. Let's turn another way and talk about Stop the Madness Summit.
Oh, wow. That's how you stop the madness, by building products that move our communities forward, and Zipline is one of them. The madness that's about to start over the next coming months, because TikTok was just partnered with some company called Oracle that has a large investor in that company called Vanguard, that is a large investor in Geo Group, that is a large investor in the private prison sector. I don't even need to go any further than that. So the madness that's about to happen now is that black businesses are about to be silenced. Well, no, Mr. Watson. Well, excuse me. No, Chief, I don't see that happening. Okay, well, let's just back up. They gave you DEI and they took that away from you. They took 300,000 jobs from our beautiful black women and mothers and aunts and grandmothers who work hard for degrees. The saying is no longer go to school to get a good grades to get a good job. It's go to school, get good grades, get a good job to get fired. That's the order
Mm-hmm.
now. So now we have to change that. What Stop the Madness does is we highlight each of these points. We highlight this by offering 4 panels that's going to discuss entrepreneurship, generational connections, health and wealth. We're going to go down the line. We're going to show you what we have, what we don't have, where the problem lies, and how we solve it. And we're not going to make any excuses about it. Stop the Madness has been a complication over the past few months. One venue told us we couldn't do our event there, and you know why they said that. All right. Okay, cool. The first venue moved the next payment date up when it's supposed to be 30 days before the event. Now they wanted it 60 days, and my wife and I have financed this thing on our own this entire time. So let me tell you something about it. It says he walketh about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. That's what he tried to do. So Satan has tried to devour it, but he has no idea who he is up against. I ain't even thinking about him. He
Come
has no
on now.
idea who he up against. So my wife said, won't we just move it to the Atlanta Tech Village? And we moved it to the Atlanta Tech Village. Now, once we get to the Atlanta Tech Village, it took them 3 weeks to get back with her on a response to actually utilize the center and the event center, community center. And once we paid the deposit and locked it in, we were hit with something else. Guess what? Now this next thing is need to be paid. And now we can't locate any sponsors. Why? They don't really want to sponsor people like us. And when I talk with people, they say, man, you didn't go buy this and that and ask this and that. Listen what I'm telling you. I am not making this up. I am not saying this to be arrogant, but I am not the kind of person who prays to God for a bag of chips. Okay.
Okay.
I've already put this to the I talk to God about mega $1 million ideas and plans, because in the beginning he told me I had dominion over the earth and I am to do it and multiply, not it rule me. So when I ask for something, it's being built. And most people have no idea. I don't have a tech degree. How am I doing this? I have 5 sites up right now from my mind because he sent the people that was needed to get it done. All I have to do is say what it is, say the thing, set it forth, and then it happens. Another thing hit us, and we're like, man, now here we are, 2.5 weeks from the event, right? You don't see a lot of ads about Stop the Madness anymore because we just say, God, whoever you have show up, let them show up. Whoever you have making the post right now, let them make the post because we don't have any more to pour into it. We put every dime we had into it, almost $7,000. We don't charge the speakers. We're trying to charge the vendors so the vendors can assist with some things, but then the vendors are skeptical of things. And it's like, listen, we can't get anywhere as a culture, as a body, as a corp by not trusting the system of the process. And I do mean to step on some people's toes when I say this. The same way we forgive them girlfriends, or in my case, ex-girlfriends, because I'm happily married, and they do them boyfriends who cheat and keep coming back and doing the same thing. I don't even want to know what the clinical term for that is. I can ask my wife and she can tell me. That's not a problem.
Right.
But when McDonald's mess your order up, you go back 100 times. If Publix forget to give you something, you go back and do it, and you keep going back and you keep going back. We need our people to trust us until we get this right, because that's the process. It takes
That's
a lot to sit back and get no feedback from people when you on social media asking people for their opinion and you wondering why you suffering.
right.
Listen, you suffering because you ain't using what a man told me when I was 19. I never understood it until I was about 27. You can do the math on that. He said, you never know what you got until you got to use it. If you ain't got nothing, you got to use whatever's available. So
That's it.
stop walking around as if we have it all together. We don't. There are only 1.7 million black millionaires, right? There's only 43 million of us in the US. We don't have it. And I say that, and I say it in love, and I say it with passion because I get up every day to build businesses. What do businesses do? They fuel the economy. They fuel households. If we can give you a job and pay you 65,000, 100,000, 300,000 a year, your family is great. Your kids can get in the best schools. You can take care of your grandparents. They retired properly. We can do that. We keep challenging one another on these platforms that don't give a care about us, from social media to TikTok to Instagram. Yeah, they're tools, and that's all they are. They're tools to be used, and we've turned those tools into modern day gods, and we worship them every day instead of using them for what they're meant to be used for, and that is to move us forward. But I'm looking at posts of people of the same, they live a block away from each other, destroying one another. And you know that's how Willie Lynch wrote it. If you don't know, I just told you. That's how he wrote it. He wrote it for it to destroy us. So this is bigger than investing. This is bigger than anything you can ever think or imagine. This is about life and having it more abundantly. I believe in the Most High. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. But I am not going to wait till I die to get what's supposed to be. Oh, no, no. I'm going to bound it here as and in heaven. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not
Yes,
gonna
sir.
wait that long to bring peace to everything. That's our job. Our job is to bring peace. Our job is to build communities where these babies, our men and women, can be who they're called to be. And that's the discussion of Stop the Madness. I just named 10 madnesses in that conversation. And I believe the ultimate madness is the hatred towards our skin color. And if we don't rally now, we may not have time to rally later.
Well, and it's also time for us to stand united and stop being divided. Because it seems like we let
This is
everybody
true.
else tell us how we should live, tell us how we need to communicate, tell us how we need to run our business and stuff instead of us doing it on our own. We got too many intelligent black people out here that can run their own businesses, that can do anything, but because of fear, they're stopping themselves instead of just stepping out there on faith and doing what they need to do, because God would not put it in their path if they were not supposed to do it. So
This is
I
true.
am honored
Every
and
day, every day I wake up and there's I think it's in Ephesians when it talk about might be yeah, putting no, it's not. Putting on the breastplate of righteousness
yeah,
and
that's
your belt of
Ephesians
truth and
6
everything.
something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So um it is funny because I think it probably been about 10 years ago now, but yeah, it may have been 27 at the time or 26. And I was watching the movie SWAT. And it was amazing how this movie became a spiritual guide for me, just watching these men put on these armors and bulletproof vests and knee pads and things like that and helmets as they're ready to go into this war, not even knowing what's on the other side. They had a small update. But the thing that came to me was SWAT, that was spiritual weapons against temptation. And anytime I am about to go into something, I SWAT up. I put on my spiritual weapons against temptation, because what's going to happen is there's going to be some things thrown, some dots thrown. I have to put on all this armor to go out here. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Okay. It is the hardest thing in the world besides raising a kid. Actually, they are similar. You have to raise the entity up, you have to feed it, clothe it, bathe it, get it where it needs to be, represent it. It's the same job that you would have as a parent to a child. And that's why the laws are, they coincide for humans and the business entities. But I say that about the SWAT because that's what we want people to see. Like my wife is probably one of the best therapists I've ever came across, and I've seen a lot of them, you know.
Hey, you
But
better say that.
and it's it's when I first met her, the conversation was so, I was like, oh no, you single? Oh yeah, you mine. Don't even worry about it. We ain't got to go too far with that. Well, I got a date with this. I'm go ahead and call him and cancel that. We're not even no. And the reason why was because when you have a person who value the mind, right? To value your mind, you have to value your time. And my wife values her morning time the most. I can be ready to say something to her, and she'll be like, "Babe, I'm listening right now. I'm in meditation. I'm in prayer." And I'll go ahead to my desk here, and I'll be like, okay." When a person has the ability to hear the Creator regarding their creation or what He has leased to them, because we don't own it,
Right.
these persons I will get behind every day. And we know there's some entrepreneurs, there's some therapists, there's some parents, there's some clinical people, there's some doctors, lawyers, or whomever that feel as if you just like, man, what do we do now? Especially when you're doing all that you can. We come together and Stop the Madness. We point out the businesses. We put the businesses that need to be together. We give them a mission to go accomplish, and we do that part of the system that we don't have. Every year when Stop the Madness is hosted, we measure our performance. We see where we are. We see what we need to improve. Because if we don't do it, I don't know who else will. I honestly believe it is my responsibility to build, as most entrepreneurs believe it's their responsibility to build. Like sometimes I gotta block out my mothers. I'm fortunate enough to have four, but sometimes I gotta tell all of them just to shut up for a minute And some people be like, ah, that's disrespectful. You're like, no, 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 not when you speak. And I can either say shut up or get thee behind me, Satan. Either way, they're gonna feel disrespected because the thing that's coming through you is trying to get to me. So I gotta quiet you because my ears are the most valuable thing that I have because it's connected to my mind. And if something goes in my ears and it gets in my mind, it pours in my mind, it kills the entire body and it shuts me all the way down. And now I'm defeated. So no, I would not allow it. And there are times where we have to just tell people to just shut up and just get in the seat. So I'm just telling everybody just shut up and get in the seat. Buy your streaming ticket. We'll stream across Mia Stream, a black-owned platform. Buy your Stop the Madness ticket. It's going to a good cause and to a good purpose. Get in the building. If you got some club you want to go to that night, cancel it. Trust me, ain't nothing in there but a bunch of sweaty people that ain't got a whole lot going on trying to run from life's problems. And that's fine too. But if you're trying to run from life problems, run to Stop the Madness, where we have licensed professional counselors and people who've been in business 25, 35 years. And the majority of them know some form, if they do not know him all the way. They've had an encounter with the Lord at least once in their life, so they can tell you at least one story. So you can get in the building and just get in the seat. I guarantee you, you would meet people who have the same spirit as you, or if you don't have that spirit yet to just get up and keep leading and keep doing things, then we can connect you with the person who has that spirit to get up and keep leading and get things done. Because sometimes I got to come down as a CEO or co-CEO and get behind somebody else. Sometimes I have to be the janitor or the administrative person, and
Well,
that's fine.
to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower too. Sometimes you got to take that jacket off and get down with everybody else and work with them. You know?
That is so very true. But that's what Stop the Madness is about. We're buying, selling tickets on our own platform. Everything you do, we're looking to put these businesses in this one building. And if you are a vendor, we have a few spots left. We want you in the building. And we don't want you in the building. Let me just make this clear because it's about your product or your business, right? That's not what it's about. It's about you knowing the other products and businesses that you need to go up the ladder. See, there are three things that happens when a person builds a business that they need to look out for. There's only really three reasons. There's only three things that really happen, right? That's a merger, an acquisition, or a corporate takeover. And under that, you can have a hostile takeover. So the purpose of every entity is to grow. It is never to stay stagnant. And that's why sometimes in my beginning entrepreneur journey, when I was an 18-year-old, 17-year-old promoter in Richmond, Virginia, walking around with a book bag on, everybody's laughing with this book bag on. But at that club that we got down the street, we just sold all the tickets. We just sold out, right? And now we got some big things happening. So now I'm like, I want to stay there, but I was forced out. And I was forced out of the club at 19 and end up getting my own club in Shockoe Bottom at 19 called Annex Hookah Bar and Grill. Now, I don't know that I can't get an ABC license. I'm not thinking that. All I know is that I don't want to be stagnant. I want to reach the highest heights I possibly can reach. And in that, I'm going to make plenty of mistakes, but I'm going to make them going up. I ain't going to make them going down. You ain't got to worry about that. I'm going to make my mistakes going all the way up the ladder. So when you have a product or a business entity, you need to be in the room with people you can merge with, businesses that you can possibly acquire, or we don't want to say take over anybody's business, but you can get in there with some people and you can go and take over some things so we can get back what we have to get back to in this society. So don't be anywhere else October the 11th. You want to be in the Stop the Madness building. And if we can't conclude the event the way we want to, let me tell you, we're going to turn it into a business mixer. And it's still going to be called Stop the Madness. And why is that? Because all this says is that it has to happen. We don't care how it happens, it has to happen. You do not want the thing not to happen because someone needs it if that's just one person in the building. That's all it takes sometimes. It's just that one person and you're just fine. But I'm excited about it all, Miss V. Just zip
Definitely.
lines, Stop the Madness, my event advisor, everything that's happening. I want to see everybody win. And
In
that's
the
all.
building. Okay, so let's break down how they can reach out to you for Zipline and for Stop the Madness and for MEA.
Well, let me figure out how to get into this chat, and then I can put it in here. Okay, there we go.
And if you all have any questions that you want to ask, please put them in the chat so he can answer the questions as well. Because this is an awesome platform to get involved in. So if you, like I said, if you all have any questions, if you just please put them in the chat and we'll answer them. So right now, Mr. Watson is putting contact information in the chat. So, but I'm going to let you all know if you're not on this particular chat, if you want to reach out to him about Zipline, it's zipline@gmail.com, and that's ZIPPLIGN at gmail.com for Zipline. For the Stop the Madness Summit, it's going to be at the Atlanta Tech Village on October 11th. What's the time for that?
10 a.m.
All right, so it's going to start at 10 a.m. In Atlanta, um, where is it located? Okay, he must have gotten off by accident. So, um, the Stop the Madness Summit is going to be at the Atlanta Tech Village, and I'm going to try and find out just to give you an idea of where it is. Let me check real quick so you all can get an idea. Because I definitely don't want you to miss this. This is going to be absolutely amazing. So, Atlanta Tech Village is located at 3423 Piedmont Road Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30305. So, what I'm going to do as well is I am going to be putting the information on my Facebook page, on my different platforms, so you all can check it out. But I would definitely advise you to become a investor in Zipline. Look how many people invested in Facebook. How many people invested in um, what's TikTok, Snapchat. Look how many people invested in that, and look what they're making now. You want to jump just like fan base. Fan base is like a competitor to, for me, is like a competitor to Facebook. Man, black owned, black operated. Isaac Hayes the third, he's doing his thing with fan base. So let's build our platforms. Let's build by black. Let's build um, all the different platforms that's out here. It is so many platforms out here that we need to just invest in and pour into. Let's stop pouring into the Facebook and stop pouring into these other platforms. And we have our own platforms out here. Just do your research, because it is so many black owned platforms out here. And I'm not, I'm not knocking any other platform, but it's just time for us to embrace us and invest in us, so we can show people who we are. Because if we stand united with our buying power, with our knowledge and everything else, we will be a terror to mess with. I mean, we will be just amazing. We will be beasts just to get out here and show people how we can stand united just like everybody else can. Um, so Mr. Watson apparently got kicked out. So I am going to thank you all for being a part of this journey. And please contact him about Zipline. It's Zipline, ZIPPLIGN at gmail.com. Invest. Even if you don't have 1,000, which he's starting out with, if you got 500, contact them and see if you can invest that anything to get your foot in the door so you can grow. The more knowledge you know, the more you can grow. Let's get this knowledge out here, people, so we can get out here and do some things. So today's meeting podcast is to highlight the system that we need to move forward as people. And the only way to get there is by investing and building the system. Let's build our system. All right? So, thank you all for joining From Hurt to Heal tonight. Remember, healing is a journey, and every step forward matters. You are stronger than your pain, and your story is not over. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep walking towards your wholeness, and let's invest in greatness. You all have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you all in 2 weeks because we're going to have a panel discussion, and it's going to be about reclaiming your identity. So come back in 2 weeks, and I will be sending out the information. You all have a great Thursday and have a great weekend.